guys, welcome back. It has been some time since we did our last video, but we have some fantastic news to share with you. What do we got?
Well, we're en route up to Jawa headquarters. We're in a really lucky position at the moment because we're just about to start a lap for 2024. And we've got the opportunity to do that in collaboration with Jawa. So we're going to head up there to headquarters right now and pick up our first van. Stay tuned because you'll see that in a second. Couple of things we're going to do in this video just to give you an outline of what we're going to talk about. First thing, this lap's going to be a little bit different to what we did in 2022 because we're going to be running a business and we're going to have a bit of work to do. So slightly different means that we're going to be a little bit slower, but we also know exactly where we want to go this time. So really looking forward to Mavo's been planning extensively in the background. Making sure that we've got some of the most awesome campsites to bring your way. The second thing we're going to do in this video is talk about packing. Why is that, darling?
Well, we found on our first lap around Australia that we were taking things that really weren't necessary and sending them back home because it was just, you know, stuff in the way, we weren't using it, and it was also adding weight to the van. So
I'm glad she admitted that because most of it was her stuff. No, in all seriousness though, there is a lot of things. So if you haven't done any extensive travel, this isn't just about a van and that sort of thing. We're going to be going through our packing, what we consider as essential. Also maybe talk about some of the things that we omitted from our last travels. We're super stoked. Can't wait to bring you all the amazing places that we're going to do on this lap again, and maybe just a few surprises around
along the way.
what you see as traveling.
Yeah, so cool. So stay tuned.
Alright, so here we are at the grand headquarters in Caloundra, about to go pick up the new van. Let's go and see what it is. 2024 Sirocco Grande. Can't wait to bring you a couple of months of living inside this thing and telling you all about the upgrades for 2024 and how do you take a multi-award winning van and make it even better.
Alright, we have shit everywhere trying to set the van up, and we've got a bit of a dilemma. So we've got the lovely mattress here. I ordered a mattress topper from Amazon and I thought, right, it's a queen size bed, I'll get a queen size mattress topper. So I got that and it doesn't quite fit. So I've rolled it up here and Ant's gone inside to get our original king size mattress topper to see if that fits. The joys. I should have measured. Always measure. Measure first. Alright, ready? Here it is.
Having a bit of trouble trying to work out what to do with the bed because it's
I just
kind
explained.
well, I'll do it again. It's kind of in between a king and a queen. So the bloody queen topper was really odd. Plus it was come from Amazon, so it's probably
what is it? A
rubbish.
Sweet love.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
Rubbish.
Now
no,
we've got the...
No, to give it its credit, it's actually really comfortable. However, it's just not the right size. That's our problem.
But this one is the $16,000 one because Mavo likes quality.
From Pillow
Talk. And now we'll see how we go with solving this problem. If not, we're just going to get one of them egg carton ones and we're going to cut the bloody thing.
Alright.
Alright. Lucky you're wearing shorts, mate.
Yeah, lucky.
See, that is actually more practical, hey? Much closer to a king than a queen. There we go.
We should do a video and show what the queen looked like. Hang on.
That looks heaps better though, hun. It looks real. It's a little bit raised here. I reckon about 5 centimetres overhang.
Once it starts to settle though, I think it'll be good. And
always solving problems.
I need to shimmy it in a bit better. It
It's
doesn't look great up here.
Yeah, but push it down, mate. Just tuck her in and it should be right. There you go. See? Perfect. Look at that. So, to solve the debate once and for all, and you'll see this on the chat every now and then, is do you put a king or a queen on? 100% it's going to be a king. Our son's going to be upset because it was on his new bed. But anyway, bad luck. There you go. Do you want to cuddle?
No.
Alright, instead of taking the one that we just put into place off, I'm going to put this one on top.
And I'll show you the difference.
Cheap that from Amazon, mate. That's what it is.
Oh,
Watch out for that Sirocco fan up there, don't
I know.
What do you reckon?
Okay, at least it goes in better.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll show you. Hangs over. Can you push the bottom up?
Oh, how can I do that with you on it?
I'm going to lift my legs. So
I'm
when I
holding
say
I'm holding the camera.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Right, so now you've got it snug down the bottom or
Oh,
not?
not
Ready?
quite.
Go.
Snug
Alright.
down the bottom.
Snug down the bottom. And that's what the top looks like. And you can't bury it. And then this is the sides. So it didn't fit. And then by the time I put the sheet on and the sheets, the fitted bottom and then the flat top, then you do, it's going to look pretty messy.
Sure is.
And I don't know whether I was the one who was going to fall off on the side or whether I was going to make you fall off on the side.
It'd be only fair for you.
But yeah, I can't push that down like the king.
Well, there you go.
It's too rigid. But it is comfortable.
Or why don't we run both? It'll be super comfortable. Solving problems. Alright, so here we are in the Sirocco, unfortunately parked out the front of our house. We've had a bit of a spanner in the works, so after what you just saw when we were picking up the van, we were a couple of kilometres down the highway and all of a sudden the air conditioner in Barry stopped working. So fortunately, or unfortunately, because that wasn't a good thing, we just had the car in for a service that day, and so Redlands Mazda have been awesome in terms of working through getting it fixed for us, but we leave tomorrow and we still haven't got the car back, so hopefully we're still leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
Before we do that though, we did say it in the intro of the video that we were going to talk about things that we're going to do on this lap that was a little bit different to what we did last time, and then before we leave tomorrow we'll take you on a whip around of all the packing and the reduction to what we did last time as well. So things we're going to do differently, maybe. I'll start with you.
I've now got a Nikon mirrorless camera, so I'm still learning how to use that. So what we'll be doing differently is I'll be teaching myself how to use the camera and get some amazing shots for you guys. I'm also going to teach myself how to drone. So look out, hopefully I don't break him.
Lucky we've got 2.
Yeah, we've got 2. I'll start with the oldest one first. How about we do that? And what else am I doing differently? I'm using a brand new platform as well, Final Cut Pro, so wish me luck. Yeah,
and I'll cop all the abuse when she's cranky about not being able to use that. No, in all seriousness, we've spent quite a deal of time, effort and money investing in upgrading our cameras, as Mavo was just talking about, our software that we're using and that sort of thing. We were really happy with what we produced before, but hopefully it'll take it to the next level. So
I hope so.
Good times. Few things that I'll be doing a little bit differently. You may notice that I've gotten a little bit fat, and that was because last year I went back to work. So we finished our lap the beginning of 2023, got stuck into a career that I thought a lot about before I left, or while we were doing our last lap, and I realised that I wanted to try and create something that would enable us to be able to do this sort of thing again. So we set up our own little business. We've actually set up 2 businesses now, but we set up my own little business based loosely on my corporate life and what I've been doing before, and it's kind of gone gangbusters. The beautiful thing about the trip that we're going to do now is I'll still be running my business from the road, and one of the massive changes since 2022 to 2024 is the quality and the abundance of satellites in the air for Starlink. So we'll be using Starlink not only for my business, but also for maybe to be doing all the editing and empty nest adventures things and all of those sorts of things. So pretty excited about, we set ourselves a goal at the end of 22 that we'd go back to work for a couple of years and then maybe take 6 to 12 months off and do it again. We're a year ahead of that timeline because it's only really been 12 months, or not even 12 months since we really finished the last lot of travel. But we've managed to, I guess, create revenue streams for ourselves to be able to do this thing. We get asked quite often, how do we afford to do it again? We wouldn't be doing it right now in our life if we didn't do these, people call it entrepreneurial, I think that's a bit wanky, but we've been smart and lucky to be able to create what we've created. So partnership with Jawa, that enables us to have these vans, and Mavi's got lots of things that she'll be doing for Jawa as well. So, you know, at the end of 2022, if we had a thought we were going to be here, or if you had told us we were going to be here doing what we were doing, I just would have laughed.
Yeah.
But like all things with life, when opportunities present themselves, you've got to take them. So the other things that I'll be doing a little bit differently, other than doing a bit of workout and trying to not be so fat, is making sure I take better care of my skin. For anybody out there that's about to embark on long-term or full-time travel, you're probably not going to notice it in the moment. You get in the sun so much that your skin, well, we're kind of lucky that we've got darker olive skin, but you get in the sun so much that you basically become immune to it. You don't get sunburn anymore. When I got back from our first trip, I went to the skin doctor, and there were things that were starting to happen. Things like some of these permanent marks on my face that were starting to come out that weren't coming out when we were out in the sun all day, every day. And amazingly, over the last 12 months, it's just gotten worse.
Yeah.
So you're going to see me in a lot more long sleeve shirts and wearing my hat more often. And the other thing, I know this sounds a bit lame for the guys. Oh, sunscreen, but also just getting in a routine in the morning of making sure I put a moisturiser on my face that's got sunscreen built into it. So even if I forget to use sunscreen, that I'll be doing it. So guys, I know that when I say guys in this context for the men out there, I know that you probably don't think about these sorts of things, but for the last 12 months has been a pretty big eye-opener for me. Not just the marks on my face, but I had to have a few things cut out of my back as well, literally scalpeled out and stitched back together, just to be on the cautious side. So I did kind of learn the hard way, so if I can give anybody that knowledge before they go, as annoying as it is, and you don't notice it at the time, but make sure you're looking after your skin, because I've now got permanent marks on my face, which makes me a little bit less beautiful for the Navy. Jokes, but you do have to be careful in all seriousness. I'm gonna do more diving. We both actually, we went to Adreno, which is a big a big scuba and snorkeling store and spearfishing store in Brisbane here, and upgraded all of our snorkels and fins and that sort of thing. We had such a great time, particularly in the West last year. We want to do more of that. I'm going to try to become a fisherman while we're on tour. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not.
So for those of you that don't know, Ant does not eat seafood. And Ant doesn't fish. So I like fishing and I eat seafood. So yeah, I'm working on it.
When I set my mind to most things, though, I generally manage to achieve it. I just kind of don't see the point of catching fish if I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah.
But obviously Mavo's going to eat it. So whilst I'm not going to be hauling in 20 fish, because that's just irresponsible,
Yeah.
I will make an effort to do a bit of that. Anything else, maybe?
a little bit of cooking, a bit more.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we cook anyway, but we'll bring a bit more cooking to you guys as well.
Yeah,
Just
we got
maybe some ideas for on the road.
Yeah, and we got lots of questions, and they're not going to be, in most instances, big gourmet meals, but they're going to be quick and easy things that you can do while you're on the road. If you've been following our socials, you may have seen some of Movo's prep the other day. She's made up a couple of bags of vomit and cryovac them. They're not really bags of vomit; they're savoury mints and things like that.
Just simple stuff, but
simple
party.
Stuff. Things that you appreciate when you've had a long day of travel or a long day out seeing sights, where you pull it out, chuck it in a pan, heat it up, whack it on a plate, and
good to go.
Good to go. So yeah, you're not going to see any extravagant things, or maybe a couple of extravagant things.
Yeah, you're good at roasts and things like that.
Yeah, but just more practical meals when you're on the road. Hopefully I'll have Barry back, because I kind of need Barry to pack the back of him to work out how I'm going to distribute the weight and all of that sort of thing. I'm also going to get up to the local tip here. Awesome that it's a free tip. Thanks, Redland Council. We're going to make sure that we go through and just give you a rundown of the weights of where we're at, because we've properly set this van up to do long-term travel and want to make sure that we're underweight.
Stay tuned.
All right, so I've got Barry back, which is good. It's the day that we're leaving though, so I'm last minute just testing our weight. So we're approaching the Redlands dump at Birkdale. Thankfully, the Redlands Council let us use the weighbridge for free. We also get to put our stuff in the tip for free if it's not commercial waste, which is nice. Thanks, Redlands Council. So the magic number we're hoping for here is to be under our GCM, and which for Barry is 5.95 tonnes. I'm going to run Barry through a little bit later once I detach the van again, but really quickly, we are full. 240 litres of water, 20 litres of toilet flush water, all packed, ready to go. All the fridges are full, and Barry's long-range tank is full as a goog. So this is going to be the absolute maximum that we will be at for the rest of the trip. I'm actually going to drop some of the water before we leave this afternoon, but I just want to make sure that at least my GCM, and then I'll do the ball weight, and then I'll do Barry's GVM as well. Having had experience towing a lot before, even though I'm not doing every single wheel and that sort of thing, it will give me a fairly good indication exactly where my weights are sitting. So let's hope this little red ticker up here says under 5.95 in a couple of seconds. Here we go. G'day. Uh-oh. We're about 80 kilos over. So back home we go to shed some weight. So, I'm coming back just to, I haven't got the van on at the moment, so just to get a GVM for the car. Obviously I'll add my ball weight when I put the ball weight scales on the van. About 80 kilos to drop, which isn't too bad considering how full everything is. As I said, that's our maximum weight. So if I drop one of the water tanks on the van, and we always travel with no water wherever possible, or little water, because you always know you can find water, at least I know kind of the maximum weight that we're going to be at. I might need maybe to drop out some of our swimmers as well, and we'll go from there. So let's see where Barry by himself fully loaded comes in at. Thanks, just get in the tear. Thanks a lot. 41602. Have a good day. All right, so 3.08, that is good news. So Barry's GVM, and I've had the GVM upgraded and engineered, is 3.45 tonne. So even with 300 kilos of ball weight, we know that we're going to be right. The other piece of good news is 6.04 minus 3.08 means the van, I think if I do my maths quickly in my head, is about 2.88 tonne. So the ATM of the van is 2.990. So about 110 kilos under in the van, even with the van like fully loaded, barbecues, 2 9-kilo gas bottles, all the water tanks and flush water full. So the news is almost all positive. We are going to go back and actually just see if we can pull a tiny bit more weight out, but given that we're set up to travel for 12 months with all of the associated gear and everything full, long range tank, both water tanks, toilet flush water and that sort of thing, we're carrying 400 kilos of fluids when everything is full. So, you know, it's not too bad, but what I would say is this is why on a lot of forums and that sort of thing, sorry, I'm just at an intersection, so on a lot of these forums, you see there's a lot more than just your car's towing capacity, because Barry's rated at 3.5 tonne. You would think with a van at 2.88 tonne, everything would be sweet, but we're slightly over the GCM at the moment, and it won't take long to get it under. But yeah, you've just got to keep an eye on it. You've got a Ram, you've got a Land Cruiser, you've got a Patrol, you have all of those things taken care of. But if you've got something like an old Prado or an old Patrol, you're probably going to need to have a good think about legally, because I'm not talking about capability. Most of these cars are more than capable of doing these weights, but the Australian government and the state governments are pretty strict in terms of compliance and engineering and all of those sorts of things. So just to be safe, just to make sure in the event of an accident, which we hope we never have, we've got to make sure that everything is legal. One, to make sure that our insurance is taken care of, and two, to make sure that everybody else on the road is safe and we're not creating a hazard or anything like that. So off we go, 80 kilos to go. That'll burn down in fuel, and obviously if I drop one of the water tanks it'll be gone, but as you know, got to make sure that we get it a little bit lower. Alright, so I didn't do my maths very good on the fly when I was at the tip, but I've redone it, and it's still okay. It's 2.96 tonne the van is at, and the ATM is 2.990. So we're close, but we're packed for 12 months to travel, and the payload in this van is still under what the ATM is. So that's really, really good news. Hey, Mavie?
It's great news. It was a high five all round.
Yeah. The other thing is it means that the car's slightly heavier than the van, which is really, really good, because you kind of don't want the tail wagging the dog either. It's not a great idea to have your car lighter than your van. Barry's got every mod under the sun on him as well. So yeah, we're going to go about shedding a few kilos here and we'll be all ready to go.
Yay!
Alright, so let's wrap this video up. My poor little Mavie's not very well, so she's my camera girl for today. As you saw, we just went a little bit overweight, and one of the things I said in the frame up of the video is we're going to talk about things that we're kind of going to take and make sure they're essential, and bits that aren't so essential. So knowing that we're a few kilos over, we've made a few decisions, and we've also learnt this from the first lap that we did. Number one, you don't need to take a fire pit with you. We travelled all the way around Australia on our first lap with a fire pit, and what we worked out is generally in the summer months everywhere's going to have a fire ban, and when you actually got to places once the fire bans were lifted, pretty much every campsite we went to had a fire pit of some description already there where you were camping. So realistically it's just one of those things, particularly with all of the cooking that we've got available to us in this Sirocco. You just don't need it. It's just unnecessary weight. The next thing that we had to think about, and again this is a little bit to do with all of the stuff, all of the quality stuff that Jawa crams into these vans, is do we take a generator or not? That was a significant saving when we took the generator out. And knowing that we've got 400 amp hours of lithium, and I'll give you a full run through of this 12 volt system in a later video, but that just enabled us to save so much weight. Simple things like during our first trip we thought we were going to be amazing intrepid explorers, and we took a swag, used it once or twice. Once. So you know, the swag doesn't weigh that much, the one that we had, but it certainly took up a lot of space in the back of my ute and that sort of thing. Just another thing not to worry about taking. The last thing with the awnings and the side kits and that sort of thing that we take with us, particularly considering there's only two of us, we didn't bother taking the annex. You don't really need an annex, particularly if you're not stopping somewhere for a couple of weeks or a month or something like that. The associated poles and that sort of thing, we just decided that wasn't worth taking. That saved us some significant amount of weight, got us back under where we needed to be. Really, really quickly, some of the things that we've already talked about, what we see as our essentials, particularly doing the type of traffic that we do, our computer, our camera gear, this little baby here, Starlink. We've only been on the road for a couple of days, but seriously, it's blowing my mind in terms of its capability, far better than our NBN at home. Little things, you know, to save weight again, when there's two of you, take 2 plates and 2 bowls and 2 sets of cutlery and that sort of thing. Realistically, I know you're going to meet people on the road and maybe have people over for dinner and stuff like we did quite a bit on our first lap. they're all travelling as well, and they've all got their cutlery. So there's no need, and I know Mavo loves it, but there's no need to take a matching dinner set for the 16-piece dining banquet that you're going to have. Just take stuff for 2 people, because people are going to have that. Little things like the jet boil, I know that we've talked about that in other videos, but you never realise when you stop on the side of the road, you want to make yourself a coffee and that sort of thing. That jet boil is absolutely stunning, and saves you pulling the kitchen out, connecting the gas, turning the gas on, and all of that sort of thing. Simple things, your mosquito and fly nets and that sort of thing. We're heading to WA, as you know, and seriously, the flies can get pretty epic there. And making sure that you've got your first aid gear, your spares kit, your recovery gear, and all of that sort of thing. We'll do a proper walk around of this Jawa and the epic amount of space that's on there again in a later video. I'll also spend some time in another video running through all of my spares that I carry, so you can get a better indication of what I kind of think is essential to have from a van and from a car perspective, but also other things that you don't necessarily need to carry. One last thing that Mavo's reminding me about, she's been working awfully hard in the background, and to be really honest, these did way better than I thought they ever would, is our Empty Nest Adventure sand-free beach towels. We've got 2 brand new designs, so Watumba from Gari or Fraser Island, and we've also got James Price Point, and there's, if you look really closely, you can see Barry in this photo. So 2 new towels, plus the return of our Elephant Rocks and our Brooms towel. So follow the link here to emptynestadventures.com to get your hands on some of these beautiful towels. Don't forget to use the discount code ENA10 as you go to the checkout to get a 10% discount as well. See you all in the next one, guys. Cheers.